Bon dia, guys. Buenos dias, ¿cómo estás? Hope you're doing fantastic. I'm doing alright. Portugal drew 1-1 with DRC Congo. It was really unexpected. We didn't really see Portugal drawing with Democratic Republic of Congo, especially after Portugal scored in the first 5 minutes. The moment I saw that, I said the only thing that I said to myself is that, oh, this is going to be hell of a ride. Portugal are going to win this by like a huge margin by 7 goals or so, but that wasn't the case. Congo really brought out their sweat and blood to the pitch, and this is one thing that I've always emphasized about World Cup tournaments. One thing that I've always emphasized is that every team that comes to play the World Cup does not come to do idle standing, pause, or just watch everybody play. They come to leave their both sweat and blood on the pitch. So if you're in some way underestimating any team that you play, then you are wrong. You're gonna be surprised. This has been one of like the biggest upset in in the tournament so far, especially considering the amount of talent that Portugal has in their squad. On paper, I feel like Portugal are neck to neck with France in terms of squad player, in terms of the strength of the team. I think they're neck to neck. Some can even make an argument that Portugal have got the best squad because when you look at that midfield of Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, Vitinha, João Neves is just stacked. The midfield is really crazy. Together with the likes of Nuno Mendes, João Cancelo, um, Pedro Neto, and of course the man himself, Cristiano Ronaldo. What a disappointing performance for Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, I am not here to banter or hate on Cristiano Ronaldo because I feel like that has been done a lot, especially since Portugal drew 1-1 with Congo. That has been done a lot. But I just want to say to Ronaldo fans and Portuguese fans, relax. Okay? Relax. This is just the first game of the World Cup. Relax. I still have Portugal as my number two favorites to win the World Cup. I still think that Portugal can really win the World Cup. What Portugal really needs to do is that they have to reset, especially what they have to do is they have to figure out what role does Ronaldo play in the squad, right? What role does Ronaldo play in the squad? They need Roberto Martinez has to figure that out. Once he figures that out, I feel like Portugal is going to be a no-brainer for Portugal. When you look at the rest of other matches that in the group, I feel like this was supposed to be like a no-brainer for Portugal, but hey, it's a World Cup. Everybody comes to play the World Cup. Congratulations to Portugal, to DR Congo. Congratulations. We heavily supported them, especially with them being like our next door neighbors. It was just like our home team was playing. So Portugal really have a tough match ahead because they have to face Colombia, who just demolished Uzbekistan in 3-1 new in a 3-1 victory. Sorry, so I feel like that's going to be a really tough match. And Portugal gotta figure out what role does Ronaldo play in the squad, right? They need to figure that out, because I feel like watching that game, most of the ball, especially in the 18, they relied most on the 18 because they had Cristiano Ronaldo, and who's like the greatest header of all time. He can score headers, he can score bicycle kick. He's the greatest goal scorer of all time, right? That's no doubt. That's one thing that I've said. He's this the, like the greatest scorer of all time. For me, Messi is the best player of all time, but you cannot deny the abilities that Cristiano Ronaldo possesses. So Portugal were really just looking for Cristiano Ronaldo each and everyone, and Cristiano Ronaldo sort of was man marked by two, three players like that, right? And it's very expected. So it's what I'm saying. So in a situation where you have two, three players marking one man, which means you have two or three, one, two, one, three players in your team that is like a spare. So it's like playing with one man down, right? So Portugal really need to figure out how to like orchestrate that. Is it that always give the ball to Ronaldo and he's going to score, or do you have? I like the idea of having like a second striker. I feel like players like Bernardo Silva can really play that role of a second striker, especially with the stacked midfield that Portugal has. I feel like guys like Bernardo Silva or Joao Felix can play that role of a second striker. So Ronaldo fans, you just need to relax. The World Cup is still ongoing. I still have Portugal as one of my favorite teams to leave the World Cup, and I still do see Portugal lifting the World Cup. So you just need to relax. Just need to relax. Just a World Cup. Remember, let me remind you that the last edition of the World Cup in Qatar 2022, Argentina lost their first match, and nobody ever thought that Argentina would go on to lift the World Cup trophy. So just relax. I know, relax. Dear Congo, they have a pretty fair and solid team, right? Especially with the defense, Wame Bisaka, what he did, those solid and clean tackles were just marvelous. It's just off the wall. It was really, really exciting to watch DR Congo play. It has been exciting to watch African teams play. They've really, really impressed apart from South Africa. I hope they turn the tables today. They hope they turn the tables tonight against Czechia. But Czechia, they're really, really strong team. So kudos to all the African teams. Ghana, I sort of underestimated them, and they fortunately they proved me wrong. I like it when they prove me wrong. I'm rooting for all African teams: Egypt, Morocco, Senegal, South Africa, Ivory Coast, Algeria. I'm rooting for African teams, so kudos to all African teams. This is what we need. I like the this format of where the World Cup has been expanded, which gives us a lot of teams, a lot of African teams that are participating in the World Cup. You have about 10 teams participating, so at least out of 10, 5 should be in the knockout round. Right, at least 5 should be in the knockout round, and I'm looking at teams like Morocco, Ivory Coast, Senegal. I feel like they still have a chance, and who else? Egypt. They can make it to the next round with the way they're playing. Cape Verde really, really did some solid defending against Spain. DR Congo, I feel like they will have a say in the knockout round. So it's been exciting. Of course, guys, remember to like, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you in the next video. Adios. Have a great day.